Yeah, so you've all been probably wondering where the hell have I been? Originally, my intentions were to go to Quartzsite, and I was starting to head out there in December. And I wrote this post here after I saw this guy, Bob Wells, do a video on this guy here, and this is exactly what I wanted to do myself. I had left with about nearly $2,800, I think. Anyways, I was heading out towards Quartzsite during Christmas with about $2,800 to buy a trailer. Then I had to return, make a U-turn about 50 miles outside of San Diego um, due to battery problems and some alignment issues that I began to notice. The nearest town after that was about 150 miles in a place called El Centro. I said, I ain't going to make it. My tires are going to go bald and they're going to go pop. And then the car wouldn't, it started giving me problems starting, and I thought it was the battery. So I had to replace two batteries. I said, you know what? I said, go back and fix these things, man. Because the next stop is about 150 miles. You're still only 50 miles away from San Diego. I said, go back. Yeah, I had to replace two batteries because the van has two batteries, and each one was about 130 bucks or so. And then the alignment thing ended up being another 300 and some dollars. So and it's still not even fixed. It needs a bar of some sort. That's another 300 bucks. So anyways, I ended up parking in this area, like outside of the Mission Bay. It's still Mission Bay, but it's sort of outside. There's one area that I usually go to where there's nobody out there, and that's where I ended up parking. Well, the van wouldn't start. I got a jump start from a guy, but it took a long time for it to start. I said, that's weird. I see you got two brand new batteries and it's still having a hard time. So after the van started, I said, you know what? I said, let it charge. I said, let it run for about 15 minutes. I said, I'm going to take my dog, for a little walk. Just around for 15 minutes. After about 15 minutes, the van turned off. It turned off. I said, holy shit, well, now what's wrong? The van turned off, the engine turned off. I said, oh, fuck, man. I tried to turn it on again, nothing. So I ended up spending Christmas there at Mission Bay. I ended up having to get two tow trucks, and then in comes New Year's. I rented 3 nights at a hotel, and then I said, worry about the van later. I had to get a U-Haul rental. The van was in the shop for almost 2 weeks, I think, or almost a week and a half, because they couldn't find the problem. They could not, they didn't know what the hell was wrong. I literally had to sleep in the streets for a couple nights, literally in the street, on the sidewalk, with my blankets, some pillows, and my dog right next to me. Yes, it was fucking cold at night. I rented a box truck U-Haul. It froze my ass, man. I had to sleep in the front seat the whole time because it was just an ice box in the back at night. And so I had to spend a lot of food, a lot of gas. My SSDI, which is what I get, is all I have. And now I have to start all over again. But now there's a transmission issue. It feels like it wants to turn off. I've done some research and it seems like it might be the transmission. Every frickin' shop I've called, they want at least $200 to check the transmission. $200 fucking dollars. I thought everything was going fine, I thought I was gonna free my mind from stress, buy a trailer, go rent a spot in Baja, travel to Arizona, BLM, make noise with my music gear and the trailer. I thought it was gonna be wonderful, and I was ready. I had the money. I had all the enthusiasm. I was ready to go, and I did go. I took off. I said, enough of this, hanging around in San Diego doing nothing and just getting depressed. I said, go. You have the money. You have enough money. Things are looking fine. You have a nice heater I had to buy, a nice refrigerator freezer I bought, and a big expensive battery I bought. Everything was fine. Everything was wonderful. And then all of a sudden, boom. So now I'm down to $300. So now I have to start all over again. Been depressed, frustrated, and I've been considering moving to Mexico, Yucatan. I can live very, very, very well with $1,180 a month, which is what I get from my disability income. It took me a shitload of a long time to save that $2,800, to tell you the truth. A lot. I mean, the van life is glorified a lot, but if you don't have the money to fix things, you're fucked, man. If you don't have friends that you can rely on, or stable friends, or a family that you can call up and say, hey, you know what, my van broke down, can I stay with you for... You're on your own, man. You're literally on your own, and that's how I am. I don't have friends. I don't have family. I do have family, but they don't want to associate with me. They're too holy for me. They're too holy, and I'm too much of a dirtbag sinner, according to them. I thought I had another friend in Colorado, but unfortunately, I don't know what the hell happened to him, man. I know he's got some, mental issues as well. The emotional friendship that I had a connection with, or at least I thought, but for some reason the guy just ended up stopping talking to me, calling me, not even an email, not even a text to say, hey, how are you doing, dude? Give me a call sometime. Nothing. I sent them a Christmas card even. Yes, a Christmas card. And I never do that, because I thought, what, it's Christmas. I said, what, he was really nice friend. I said, send him a Christmas card, man. Maybe start doing that, I said, from now on. Find out when his birthday is, and things like that, So I said, I went out and, bought a Christmas card. It wasn't a 99-cent Christmas card either. It was like $8. But I didn't, look at that as an issue. I said, what? I said, he's a good friend. I said, I thought he was a good friend. And I didn't get a response back. Nothing. Not a phone call, not a text, not a thank you, not a Merry Christmas to you. Nothing, man. The point is that if you don't have nobody you can call, rely on, you're fucked, man. You can glamorize all you want, the van life, with these beautiful sceneries and everything is hunky-dory, but god damn it, if you don't got 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 grand saved, it is truly a shitty feeling when your van breaks down and your money is gone. But as far as antidepressant meds, I don't take any of them. At 57 years old, you don't have much to rely on but to be strong and figure out, what to do next. So what will I do next? Well, maybe move to Mexico. And unfortunately, I thought everything was going fine with the van, so I ended up buying music gear. I ended up buying a 1959 Epiphone Les Paul. It's like the exact replica, according to them, of an actual 1959 Les Paul. It's nice, but it needs some neck work, okay? Because it's made in fucking China. Yeah, I know I said I would never buy anything from China, music-wise, but I said, you know what? I said, that company, Z Sounds, they've given me a lot of credit, man. And what I wanted to do is use the guitar in standard tuning. So anyway, so I'm making payments on that. I'm making payments on a Korg Minilog XD synthesizer. I'm making payments. I was making payments on a Mesa Boogie 212 speaker cabinet. I got 2 more payments on that to go. But again, I bought all that stuff because I thought everything was going fine and I had enough money saved to buy a trailer. I said, man, would it be awesome, man, the jam in the trailer, converted into a music studio and also part living with a shower and be able to stand up. Oh, it was wonderful. I thought everything was going great, man. And like I said, I left. I said, you know what? I said, take off, go look at the trailers, go look at them. I said, because I was looking at so many of them and I was bitching about, wow, this one's too big. Wow, this one's too small. Well, this one has this. That I don't like. Well, I don't know about that. And I said, you know what? How do you know, man? I said, why don't you go, because they weren't here in San Diego. A lot of them were like Sacramento, really cheap ones in Sacramento, cheap ones price-wise and really nice quality. And I said, fuck, I got to go all the way to Sacramento. And I almost did. And and many others were like in Arizona, New Mexico, places like that. I said, dude, you're not going to find anything here in San Diego. Get out of here. So I took off, man. I took off, a few days before Christmas. And I thought I was going to have a wonderful time on courtside, meet a lot of people. Yeah, I really had a lot of high hopes. And I really was happy. I thought I was going to free my mind from a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of negative stuff. I really was looking forward to it, man. I really was. That's the update. This guy Bob Wells, man. This guy, I don't know, man. This dude, man, he pushes a lot. The freedom you can get, by living in a van, blah, 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 They glamorize it so much, man. But, man, you better have fucking thousands of dollars saved up, because once that van breaks down and it's a major repair like mine, you better have your fucking ass in gear, your shit together, man. Because it is not a happy feeling, man, when your van breaks down and you got to spend all that money. It is not. Now, I mean, this guy has money. He had a house, he sold it, and he's on disability income on top of that. So he can afford it. He just put a new transmission and a new engine. So, yeah, he's got fucking money. My only income is my disability income, and that's it. And I thought I was going to live the life like this guy, riding around in a trailer. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this dude shows up. This dude named Jose Arteaga, living in Mexico. This guy left to Merida. I've been to Merida, by the way. I've been to Merida. I've been to all of these places, Progreso, Cancun, Chelem. I've been to all of those places, and I loved it. But back then, when I was visiting those areas, it was when my father died. It was about 10 years ago, almost 11. But I had to come back because back then I had a whole different lifestyle. I had an adult film business production company that I was running out of my own apartment, and I had to come back. I also had to meet a girl that I ran into. It's a long, long story of things that happened. When I heard this guy's story, I said, what? He left with $1,500. He was living in Miami, Florida, and I think he was in New York also. But he was also following the same path I have been. He was running out of money, and I don't know I forget what happened. And he goes, well, you know what? I can either buy a van and try to live in the van, and then figure out how I'm going to cook, how the power, electricity, do videos, etc., or I can try to live in a car, or I can, And then he said, or I can go to Mexico. He's Cuban. He didn't have papers or documents, nothing. He basically left there, I think, as an illegal Cuban in Mexico. But he said, I have $1,500 left. And then he said, how am I going to get there? How am I going to survive? Well, he had some other small amount of money, and he rented a Airbnb for a month. And he used, I think 2 months, but during that time, he used that time to find an actual apartment to live. And he found one for very, very inexpensive. And he still had his $1,500. I said, shit, man. I said, I get $1,180. I'm a Mexican citizen and a United States citizen. I speak Spanish. I've been there before. I love it. And this fucker, this Cuban dude, is going there and survive. So he made it. And I've been watching his videos a lot. And so I said, hold on. So I've been to Merida. I rented a hotel for a week. I'm not interested in the tourist areas and all that like him. Okay, I'm not. Because I've been there. He's showing you the touristy, well, not really. This is what it's actually like. See that? But there's the outskirts that are even more nicer. if you're not afraid of wandering, you know. But for me, it would be easy because I'm Mexican. I speak Spanish. I look Mexican, you know. And for him, it was a whole culture change. It was shocking to him, you know. But he had to adapt. Me, I could adapt a lot easier because I've been there, and I hablo español. Soy mexicano, you know. So I said, you know what? I said, what are you gonna do, you know, Damien? For those of you watching this video is going to 2 channels. One of them is going to Damien's Headbanger Ministries, which is supposed to be all about music and other stuff. And then there's my other YouTube channel that is called The Wandering Troubadour. Okay, in Headbanger Ministries, I go by the name Damien because I pursued a heavy metal music career when I was 24 years old in Hollywood. And I was out there for almost 20 years. But I didn't pursue it for 20 years because a lot of stuff happened between the 24 years old and that I don't want to go into. But it's not a pretty story, okay? The way I ended up fucking up my life. And but I lived there for 20 years. I pursued a heavy metal music career. I forget for how many years. At the age of 24, I had long fucking hair. And I was there during the tail end of the heavy metal, not during the tail end, maybe during the middle, because I fucked up my life towards the end of those metal years. I went into a whole different life, a whole different identity. I'll just put it that way. I ended up having a whole different identity. Maybe one day I'll talk about it more about that. What the fuck was I? Oh, about the name Damien. You know, I forget why I mentioned the name Damien. So I said, you know what? I said, why not go to, you know, take your chances, man. Because what else do you have left? Your van is malfunctioning with this jolt. It's getting worse. And you only have so much money left, $300 fucking dollars. Yes, that's all I have, people, $300 fucking dollars until I get paid again next month. But again, I have to pay nearly $300 plus my car insurance, plus the cell phone. So I said, what choices do you have? Well, I am on a waiting list to be in a sort of shelter like with a bed at a homeless facility, because if my van breaks down, where am I going to go? Where am I going to park? Where am I going to get money? I thought about selling some music gear, but you know how hard that feels, man, when you're a musician and you got all this wonderful music equipment, and what is it going to go to? A van repair? I said, you know what, dude? I said, go. You know, I had to submit all kinds of documentation to this shelter. It's a shared room with like 3 other, I don't know, something like that. And it's not one of the big shelters, you know, homeless shelters. I don't know yet what the word is about my dog, you know, because I have a little dog. And also about parking, because the goal is if they have parking, wonderful. I can cancel my insurance and tell them that it's a non-op and not drive, and stay there for as much as I can and save as much as I can. You can stay there up to 18 months. However, I hear that it's not, you know, they used to test people for drugs. Well, now they don't, because they would lose funding, federal funding, okay? And they said, well, if you're going to test them for drugs and then tell them, no, they can't come in, well, then we're going to cut your funding. They said, oh, no, okay, come on in, yeah. So now if you're on fucking heroin, if you're on meth, if you're on crack, if you're on fucking fentanyl, come on, it's okay. You know, I'm sure they got rules. You know, if you're going to be freaking out or being stupid, they're going to kick you out, of course, you know. So I hope it's not a big issue, you know, when I get there. Hey, guys, sorry for the abrupt cutoff there in the video. And, yeah, sorry, I also haven't, combed my hair. Stay tuned for part 2. Well, I will be playing my my newest guitar, the one I was telling you about. I don't know why it's not focusing, but what I'm going to do is find a sticker that says Les Paul, and I'm going to put it over that Epiphone, because like I said, I don't want it to show the Epiphone. And I removed the stickers in the back that said "Made in China" crap immediately. That's the first fucking thing I did, man. But it plays really, really nice. I gotta find that Gibson. I'm sorry, not a Les Paul sticker, a Gibson sticker, and cover that Epiphone, because they actually changed the headstock. See, now it's a Les Paul, a Gibson Les Paul headstock that they converted it to, which is really nice. The other one, I think it was cut off right here at the tips. Yeah, it looked kind of weird. Like it was just cut off, and I think the actual Gibson is wider. The top part, this part, I think it's a little wider. So, but hey, it plays really nice. It really does, and it's supposed to be a 1959 replica of. It's a limited edition. As you can see, it says limited edition. Since it's a 1959 actual replica of a 1959 Les Paul. Sorry, there's very limited space here. It's an exact replica of a 1959 Les Paul. Les Paul, yeah, 1959, and if you make some few modifications, it'll be really, really nice. And so the reason I bought this guitar is because I want to keep it in standard tuning so I can learn songs. And but yeah, so stay tuned for part 2, where I actually will be playing this beauty. It's really nice also. Okay, you guys, thank you for watching. Bye.